तो गुड इवनिंग फ्रेंड्स। आज हम लोग डिस्कस करने वाले हैं द वेरी डिस्टर्बिंग लेटेस्ट जजमेंट गिवन बाय बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट नागपुर बेंच। बहुत अनफॉर्चुनेट पार्ट ये भी है कि वो जजमेंट एक फीमेल जज ने लिखवाया है। इस जजमेंट से बहुत ज्यादा ऑब्जेक्शंस आए, लोगों ने लाइक इट क्रिएटेड कंप्लीट फ्योर अमंग्स द लीगल कम्युनिटी एंड पब्लिक एट लार्ज, जो समझते हैं इस लॉ को, जो कॉन्सेंट्रेट करते हैं सब्जेक्ट पर। सब्जेक्ट क्या है? पॉक्सो है कि चाइल्ड अब्यूज, सेक्सुअल अब्यूज अगेंस्ट चाइल्ड, सेक्सुअल अब्यूज अगेंस्ट एनी जेंडर ऑफ पर्सन अंडर द एज ऑफ 18. Now, sexual abuse, which include all kind of sexual abuse of a child. It can be a sexual assault, which is defined under the Act. It can be a sexual harassment. It can be penetrative sexual assault. It can be aggravated penetrative sexual assault. Defined है सब कुछ, सारी चीजें, इसलिए मैं अभी यहाँ पर उनको एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर रही हूँ while opening up the subject. केस ये था कि एलिगेशन ये थे कि द पर्सन ग्रुप द गर्ल अंडर द एज ऑफ 18 फॉर श्योर, दैट्स व्हाई कवर्ड अंडर द एक्ट, जिसको हम नॉर्मली पॉक्सो एक्ट बोलते हैं। और जज ने उनको सेक्शन 7 से, सेक्शन 7 एंड रेड विथ 8, सेक्शन 7 डिफाइंस सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट एंड सेक्शन 8 इज द पनिशमेंट पार्ट। जज ने उनको एक्विट कर दिया सेक्शन 7 से एक्यूज को, हाई कोर्ट जज ने, व्हाइल ट्रायल कोर्ट एक्चुअली कन्विक्टेड, बाय सेइंग दैट क्योंकि ऐसा कहीं पर एविडेंस नहीं आई कि गर्ल के क्लोथ्स, उसको हर क्लोथ्स वर रिमूव्ड और द मैन और द एक्यूज रिमूव्ड हिज क्लोथ्स, स्किन टू स्किन कांटेक्ट नहीं था और इसलिए वो सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट अंडर सेक्शन 7 नहीं आएगा। तो हम सब्जेक्ट ओपन करेंगे, सब लोग डिस्कस करेंगे, पर स्किन टू स्किन कांटेक्ट की इंटरप्रिटेशन की जरूरत क्यों पड़ी, और क्या अगर हमें किसी एक्ट को, एक्ट मींस सम एक्ट बाय द परपिट्रेटर और द एक्यूज्ड को सेक्शन 7 की डेफिनेशन में लाना है, तो क्या ये नेसेसिटी है? अभी नेसेसिटी कहां से अराइज होती है? नेसेसिटी अराइज होती है फ्रॉम द लैंग्वेज यूज्ड इन द सेक्शन और द डेफिनेशन। तो फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ डिस्कशन एंड जो सुनेंगे उनके लिए, समझाने के लिए, मैं आई एम रीडिंग आउट द सेक्शन 7 व्हिच डिफाइंस सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट। इसमें डेफिनेशन में कहीं और डिफाइन नहीं है। डेफिनेशन क्लॉज सेक्शन 2 refers back to section 7 to find out the definition of sexual assault, which says whoever with sexual intent touches the vagina, penis, anus or breast of the child. Now here the child does not have a gender. It can be either of it. It's not a gender bias. Or makes a child touch the vagina, penis, anus or breast of such person or any other person, or does any act with sexual intent which involves physical contact without penetration is said to commit sexual assault. तो essential ingredients क्या हो जाएंगे इसके? 2 parts हैं सेक्शन के। One is with sexual intent touches any part, क्योंकि यहाँ पर हमारा कंसर्न है एलिगेशन का, the breast of the girl child were touched by grouping। तो हम केवल इतना पोर्शन लेते हैं यहाँ से, whosoever with sexual intent touches the breast of the child or does any act with sexual intent which involve physical contact. ये or is the second part, right? Now, if I take this act of this accused in this particular case, in either of these half, whether direct allegation of touching the breast or physical contact, मेरे हिसाब से ये जो एलिगेशन था इस केस में, जो कि प्रूव हुआ है, जज ने ये नहीं कहा कि एलिगेशन प्रूव नहीं हुआ है, तो एलिगेशन जो प्रूव्ड है वो ये है दैट ही ग्रुप द गर्ल, सो ही केम इनटू फिजिकल कांटेक्ट, ही प्रेस्ड हिज ब्रेस्ट। तो भी इंटरप्रिटेशन में जज ने बोला कि क्योंकि स्किन टू स्किन कांटेक्ट नहीं था। अब ये हम लोगों का, हम सब कह रहे हैं कि ये गलत क्यों है इंटरप्रिटेशन, कि एक तो स्किन टू स्किन की रिक्वायरमेंट सेक्शन में नहीं है, then we are reading into a requirement of skin to skin in what? Either in the term physical contact or touching the breast or touching any part of the body. Skin to skin contact का requirement section में नहीं है. Section only says physical contact with sexual intent. Now one may argue कि आपने जब केवल cloth, both are wearing cloth, टच करा है, ग्रुप करा है, तो सेक्सुअल इंटेंट है क्या? उसके लिए वी हैव टू सी सेक्शन 29 एंड 30 ऑफ द एक्ट. सेक्शन 29 assigns presumption to certain offenses, okay, and it reads where a person is prosecuted for committing or abating or attempting to commit any offense under section 3, 5, 7, 9. We are concerned with section 7. The special court shall presume that such person has committed or abated or attempted to commit the offense as the case may be, unless the contrary is proved. So here this is completely a presumption against the accused and in favor of the allegation, contrary to the general criminal procedure, criminal jurisprudence, which says an accused has to be treated innocent till proven guilty. Here the assumption would be against the person and in favor of the allegation. So the onus would lie upon the accused to rebut the presumption, legal presumption. And 30 talks about the culpable intent, which says in any prosecution for any offense under this act which requires a culpable mental state on the part of the accused, the special court shall presume the existence of such mental state, but it shall be a defense for the accused to prove the fact that he had no such mental state. So here, and the explanation is far more interesting. Explanation of section 30 says, in this section, culpable mental state includes intention, motive, knowledge of a fact, and the belief in for the reason to believe a fact. तो आपका इंटेंट भी प्रिज्यूम होगा against the accused. So one may say, I simply grouped the girl, I did not have a sexual intent. The moment you group a person, the moment you touch the body parts which are mentioned in the act, and I would be saying you would have to read beyond it. These are simple references which are inclusive in nature. So tomorrow another judge should not say that no, here only 4 parts of the body mentioned, so 5th part if somebody touches there is no sexual intent, it is not covered by section 7. If you are touching opposite sex or maybe the same, depends. Abhi tak to it's nowhere says opposite sex, but if you are touching, sexual intent has to be presumed and the allegation has to be presumed against you that your intent was there, you have committed that act unless you prove it otherwise. Now Delhi courts have occasion to deal with section 2930. And they very nicely said that if the allegation is there, the legal compulsory presumption would be against the accused and in favor of the prosecution story. I'm just referring 2 of the cases. One is State versus Zahid and another one is State versus Devinder Singh. In both of the cases are of district courts. The courts have interpreted these sections to say it is not like IPC. It is not like general procedure where the accused would be taking benefit of if the prosecution fails to prove. It is other way around. Now, there is another serious fallacy in the approach and right now have not dealt with why the judgment is wrong even on principles. This is, I'm only referring to the black and white. The language used in the section, the judgment is wrong on face of it. But otherwise it frustrates the whole aspect of it. Basically it says, unless you unrobe the person, then what does that mean? That if you are wearing clothes and you are touched inappropriately all over the body, for that judge it is still not sexual assault. And I need not to give detailing of what all way one can actually touch body parts. And this is on face of it when in 2013 we have to amend, the legislature have amended section 354 by adding 354 A, B, C, D, E to include in it all possible manner, all possible aspects of sexual abuse to a person, to a woman. Here also, if you see section 7, then section 11, which goes at length, include every single small aspect of sexual abuse. So much so that if you go by this interpretation, then actually so many of the provisions or so many of the clauses of section 11 have to be rendered redundant. That we will discuss later in length. But in my submission, and this judgment go horribly wrong, and unfortunately we have come across another judgment of the same judge where the allegation is that he unzipped his pant. He was trying to put the clothes down of the girl. He held her hands. The judge still did not find the allegation under section 7 and still said it would be section 354 IPC only. And believe you me, when we were doing research, we found in all such cases the attempt would be from the accused side, so to say, that it is an act covered by section 354. Somehow to take out the allegations, somehow to take out the charges from this special act to the General Act. General Act is IPC. To take it out from here, because here the punishment is far more stringent, the presumptions are there, and because of the presumptions it makes much more difficult for the accused to get rid of the allegations. Then you have a special court, specially trained magistrate, specially trained prosecutors, specially trained investigating agency, that all should be child centric. If you see from the preamble of the act, the introductory part, which says the whole approach should be child-centric. The child interest should be paramount. That's the approach. Not the child come forward and says this act has been committed against me. I have been abused. Now, how come on earth somebody says somebody touches me wrongly and clothes are there, so it's okay? Even if one person is wearing clothes and the other is not wearing, assume for a moment if the man completely unrobes himself and touches the girl, or he unrobes the girl and he is wearing clothes, as per this judge, it all would not cover under any of these sections, because then skin to skin touch is not there. And I'm opening it for all after just mentioning one more section, and that is section 42. Now, I believe this judge has completely been oblivious even of section 42, which says that if the act can be punished or covered under few sections of IPC and of this act, then you have to punish the person under the provision which has greater punishment. So if the judge feels it is 354, but it is also being covered under 7, then surely it has to fall under 7. Unfortunately, the excuse of the judge is, since here the punishment is far more stringent, so let it go there. And then from somewhere out of blue, this skin to skin argument has come up. So this is the opening from my side, and Nomi, you add on with what data you have and open up the subject further for all.
Uh, to open the subject, I'd like to speak about the preamble and the statement and objectives as to why POXO was brought into effect in the first place. As of now, as of September 2020, India has reported 13,244 cases of child pornography, rape, and gang rape complaints. So first, this itself suggests that there is a very excessive need of this act to be implemented properly because there are so many complaints that are coming in, and the Supreme Court has taken an extremely sensitive view when it comes to speaking about POXO. And in fact, in ERA versus State of NCT of Delhi in 2017, the Supreme Court was of the view that the the paramount reason why the act is in place is to protect the child. The Supreme Court has held that the child has to be protected not only as a victim but also as a witness as to what has happened to her or him under the POXO Act. The stress is laid on providing a very child friendly procedure for the entire thing because, as traumatizing it is for adults, it is even more for children because they are at a very tender age at that point of time. And it is our duty as a part of the legal system to give the child a proper environment where if something has happened, then they get the right kind of treatment and they get the right kind of way the justice is served towards them should be in the right way, and it should not traumatize them further. The Supreme Court has mentioned again and again in in judgment after judgment that when we're dealing with POXO cases, the judiciary has to take a sensitive approach. The trial courts, the high courts, and the Supreme Court, and even the police investigating officers, starting as soon as the criminal trial is taken into effect, the approach has to be extremely sensitive because each and every person dealing with this matter has to understand that they are not only dealing with victims, they are not only dealing with victims of sexual abuse, but they're dealing with children who are also victims of sexual abuse or sexual assault or harassment. And it does not matter how they were harassed, but if they are feeling harassed, they should be given a kind of environment which is at least which at least gives them a listening ear and does not argue against them without hearing them out. Another thing that the Supreme Court has laid down, especially because of the sensitive nature of this case, is that there have to be such special courts. But we forget that after the special courts, when they go up in appeal, it goes to the High Court and in the Supreme Court. These courts are not specially made for POXO, but we I think we presume that when we are a judge of a high court or a Supreme Court, we will have a sensitive approach towards these issues. But obviously the cases that are arising right now show that there needs to be a blanket change in the way that the judges are approaching this case as a whole, and not only the trial court but the High Court and the Supreme Court. So while deciding the case, the I think the judge has completely forgotten about the reason why the act has come into place. And also, she has taken such an insensitive approach, and it hurts us because we are females, and we feel that we have a more sensitive approach, and judges of the Supreme Court who are mostly male, they have a more sensitive approach than what she has been taking in so many of her cases.
In my opinion, uh, the definition of sexual assault as provided under Section 7 should have been much broader. For example, as I was referring to the definitions provided under the various countries, for example, I was referring to UK, I was referring to USA definition of sexual assault, I was referring to the other academicians, journalists who have defined the term sexual assault. So I feel there is a need to look into the definition of sexual assault in much broader way. For example, if I quote here, there is one organization called Women Health Government Organization, which has defined the term sexual assault, which I quote it, the definition: the sexual assault is any type of forced or coerced sexual contact or behavior that happens without consent. Sexual assault includes rape and attempted rape, even child molestation, and sexual harassment or threat. So this is one definition, which is much broader than what is given in Section 7 of the POCSO Act. Even if we, means why I'm trying to bring the different definitions is because what is sexual assault we can understand only when we look into the different countries, what they have defined, when we look to the different countries as to what they have defined in their acts about the term sexual assault. For example, if we refer to, if I quote another one definition of one organization called Rape, Abuse and Incest National Network. It is one of the nation's largest anti-social violence organization, which has defined the term sexual assault to mean the term sexual assault refers to sexual contact or behavior that occurs without explicit consent of the victim. Some forms of sexual assault includes attempted rape or fondling or unwanted sexual touching. The next one is forcing a victim to perform sexual acts such as oral sex or penetrating the perpetrator's body. And the next one is penetration of victim's body, also known as rape. So this one is the another definition of sexual assault. The one of the broad definition given by Department of Justice, United States of America, they define sexual assault is an unwanted sexual contact or attention made through force, threat, bribe, manipulation, pressure, tricks, or violence. It may be physical or non-physical and includes rape, attempted rape, child molestation, incest, and sexual harassment. All forms of sexual assaults are, they say, they are crime. Then coming to the definition given, this is also one of the interesting definition given by, again, United States journal, one of the famous journal. This definition is given by an academician who says, if somebody does something sexual that makes anybody uncomfortable, touches body when you do not want them to touch, it may be that may also constitute a sexual assault. Then coming to the definition given in, which is defined in France journal. So they say they have categorized the definition of sexual assault into three categories. For example, sexual assault is a sexual act with or without physical contact committed by an individual without the consent of the victim, or in some cases, and especially when children are involved, through emotional manipulation or blackmail. It is an act that subjects another person to the perpetrator's desire through an abuse of power. The use of force, coercion, implicit or explicit threats. Sexual assault violates the victim's fundamental rights, including the right to physical and psychological integrity and security. They also say certain other terms are used to refer sexual assault, including rape, like sexual abuse, sexual offense, sexual contact, prostitution, or child pornography. So in my opinion, there is a need to look into the definitions provided in other countries, so to fill in the gap what is happened in this case. For example, since there is no skin to skin contact, that itself does not that is not sufficient to say that this is the so and so activity is not a sexual assault, and so the person is acquitted under Section 7, but he is convicted under Section 354 of IPC. So there is a need, we must look into the definition of sexual assault provided in other countries.
I know we are all very disturbed with this High Court judgment, but I would like to talk about similar cases where a judgment has been given or an order has been passed by the district court, and how they have taken into consideration about the similar matters under Section 7 and 8 of POCSO. So first, I would like to discuss a case from Bangalore District Court, State of Karnataka versus Krishna. In this case, Section 7, they tried to divide Section 7 and explained what physical contact would mean. So they divided physical contact into a few categories. First would be bodily contact, where there is an involvement of each other's bodies touching at various points, and it can also be through the means of aggression. And the second is involving touch, where the touch can be either affectionate or in a sexual way. So all of these, in a way, constitute the term physical contact as given under Section 7. And that is something that the Bangalore District Court came up with. And I was surprised that the basic essence of this could not be understood by the Honorable Judge when the Honorable Justice Pushpa, while she was giving her judgment in the High Court. The second case that I came across is the one that ma'am had mentioned earlier, that is State of NCT Delhi versus Mohammed Zaid. In this case, the court went ahead and explained in detail how Section 30 and Section 29 are helpful to a victim, and how that is supposed to be taken into consideration while talking about every case regarding POCSO. So Section 29 gives uh, provides the accused with presumption of there is a presumption that the court has to consider when the cases are under section 3, section 5, section 7 and section 9 of the POCSO Act, and that is that the person who has attempted to commit the offense or who has abetted or has committed the offense had a sexual intent. That is the presumption that is supposed to be taken into consideration, and uh, and which is very important. When we talk about section 30, section 30 was basically introduced with intention of giving defense to the accused, and here they spoke about the culpable mental state. So in the case, the prosecution tries to in any of the offences in POCSO, the prosecution tries to show that there was a sexual intent and there was a culpable mental state at the part of the accused. But accused can take this section as a defense, and the accused has to prove completely that there was no culpable mental state, that he had no intention or she had no intention of committing a sexual of touching him with a sexual intent. So that's how section 30 came into play. In this case, the victim was basically caught hold of by the accused. The accused had just caught her hand and tried to take her, asked her to come with him to a secluded location. And in this case, the court came to a conclusion that because the girl was unwilling and because it was against her wish that the boy had caught her hand, and the intent, and when he said that when he asked her to asked her if he could take her to a secluded location, um, that shows that there was a sexual intent to the touch. And in this case, the court gave sentence the person and punished the person under section 8 of the POCSO Act. So I support this approach of the judiciary where there is whenever there is a gray area, they have given a more sensitive approach and given a presumption to the victim because the victims in this case are children and they're very sensitive, and it is a very tender age for anyone to go through sexual abuse. So that is my conclusion, that if a district court can uh, properly dissect the matter and not, take into consideration the provisions that have been already provided, why can't the High Court?
When I was referring about the second judgment of the same judge, the earlier one which has troubled all of us was 24 January. The other one is 15th January. And I am just reading the portion of the judgment. The allegation is that he unzipped his pant, he held hand of the girl, and he tried to molest her. And she stated, she came in witness, she supported her version. The judge says it is established that he wanted to molest her. So the evidence of the girl has been taken as established. So she says, in this view of the matter, the prosecution could establish that the appellant accused entered into the house with an intention to commit offense, and he held the hands of the prosecutrix with an intention to molest her. Therefore, the conviction of appellant accused for the offense punishable under section 448 and 354(1)(I) of IPC is maintained. She left the accused on the sentence undergone, this is 5 months only. And now the ridiculous part of the judgment. She says the act should be of the same nature or closure to that. Closure to that is something which is mentioned in section 7. Then she says the acts of holding the hands of the prosecutrix. Now here skin to skin touch was there because he was not wearing gloves, the prosecutrix was not wearing gloves. So she says the acts of holding the hands of the prosecutrix or open zip of the pant, as has been allegedly witnessed by PW1, in the opinion of this court, does not fit in the definition of sexual assault. Now, I do not know what reaction has to be given on that. What is the understanding of this person to understand sexual assault? What exactly has to happen for this judge to understand, yes, sexual assault has taken place? And when she's saying the prosecution has established her case. So I believe only 6 days difference. One act she pardoned by saying no skin to skin touch. Here, all that has happened, still she is saying doesn't fall under section 7. While if you read section 11, I was, under section 39, the government have to frame guidelines for the purpose of this act. The central government has come out with model guidelines, which I will be sharing in the group today, way back, which says the act was meant to cover all sorts of sexual abuse to a child. Now, this judge appears to be excluding all possible acts from the definition of sexual assault. I do not know what exactly has to be done for this judge to feel that no, this would fall under 7. We have yet to see a judgment when we have yet to see something where she says no, this would fall into it. So now, Avi, your take and what data, what point you have to address on this issue?
Okay. So as we know that this act is enacted to protect the children from sexual offense and especially meant to dealing with offenses that target children, and the term children used in POSCO Act is gender neutral. So as IPC section 354 is not for boys, so people who assault little boys will get a free pass for this assault. Like in 2018, it was the survey happened in that 21,605 child rapes were recorded, out of which 21,401 are girls and 204 are boys. And the second is neither the POSCO Act or any other laws in India define what is touching or physical contact. And this ambiguity has facilitated the absurd interpretation that touching breast through clothes worn by the child is not a sexual assault. Like in other countries, like UK, their law has defined touching. According to that, touching to include touching with any part of the body, with anything else, or through anything. There is also a case law which is related to that. It is Regina versus H. In that case, the interpreted this provision as judgment dismissing appeal filed a man accused of grabbing a woman's tracksuit bottom by the fabric in the area of right pocket and attempted to pull her towards him. It was contended before the court that the touching of tracksuit bottoms alone did not amount to the touching of another person. But judge ruled when a person is wearing clothes, we consider that touching of the clothing constitutes touching for the purpose of the section 3 offense, which is sexual assault. Important to note that the opening words of section 79(8), touching includes touching. We have no doubt that it was not Parliament intention by the use of that language to make it impossible to regard as a sexual assault touching which took place by touching what the victim was wearing at that time. So the judgment or the order given by this High Court is totally vague and ambiguous.
Govind, you want to speak something on the subject?
Yes, my video is not on, but I read the judgment, and I may say honestly that this judgment is absolutely without consideration of evidence. If you go through the finding of the court specifically did not disbelieve the finding and version of the prosecution. Court gone with the prosecution version and said that yes, prosecution version is in a way she said that the prosecution version is correct, but the interpretation of law, in my humble opinion, interpretation of law, if you just start the section 7 with the line that with the intent, sexual intent, something like that, it is written there, whoever with sexual intent touches the things over. If you read these 3 lines with the evidence available on record, the judge was not required to go further. The judge has interpreted the section, which is, in my humble opinion, it is absolutely uncalled for, and it will not hold for a second in the court also. Beyond the all aggression and everything by the lawyer or any other fraternity, but the court has not even seen. Court interpreted that the later part of the section, court interpreted liberally, which in my opinion is completely wrong, because the beginning of the section said with the intention. And the evidence came on record that when mother went there, When mother opened the door of the room, mother found that he was trying to commit all this nonsense, the act which fall under the section 7, and the girl testified that. So there was no reason to disbelieve that.
In fact, you came in later, Hanvi, I was referring to section 29 and 30.
Yes.
So you have, this is a special act, and you have the presumption clauses, which says the presumption would be in favor of the narration or the version of the prosecutrix.
So,
So
that
the
is
presumption
more
of
fatal.
intent, presumption of the allegation. The onus lies on the accused to rebut both the presumptions.
Absolutely.
Right. So it is not the conventional criminal jurisprudence where the accused has to be treated innocent until proven guilty. Now, I was discussing this thing with Avi. He is an intern. He is in third year of Manipal University. He made two very interesting points. One, he says, why not this would be covered under section 18 of the act itself, the conduct of the accused. Section 18 talks about an attempt to commit rape, an attempt to commit an offense under section 3, that is penetrative sexual assault.
Oh, that's
now,
interesting.
if you are disturbing yourself, if you are disturbing the girl, you have taken the girl under the pretext that I will get you guava. He takes her to, he confines her in a room.
Yes.
For what?
Remove the clothes.
Yes, to do what?
And by the time the mother came.
Because the neighbor told that I have seen your girl.
I seen your daughter with this man, yes.
And he came down, he said, no, she is not there, I do not know where is she. Had the mother not come in time,
he would have.
So why would it not fall under attempt to commit rape? If that falls under attempt under section 18, then the punishment would have been half the full punishment, that is 10 years is the complete punishment. It would have been half of that punishment. Unfortunately, in this judgment, the judge says, since the punishment is stringent, you are dealing with the child's right. And another
the act is like that only.
Another very interesting point Avi made is this is a gender neutral act. The child can be of any gender. It
Yes.
could be a transgender.
It could be.
The perpetrator could be of any gender and could be a transgender. Now, the moment you take out these acts, this particular allegation from the ambit of section 7, okay, and you say, no, it would fall under 354. 354 is only meant for a women victim. Where would the child victim and the transgender victim would be getting that protection there?
Good point. Yes, yes.
So unfortunately, the judge had forget the basic interpretation, the basic sense of outraging of the modesty. Section 354 would be covered under outrage of modesty.
Yes.
If you see section 11 of POCSO Act, it is trying to cover all sorts of abuse, even by words, by gestures. So by words, you would be punishable. Gestures, you would be punishable. But by grouping a girl completely or a child completely, maybe you are traveling your hands all over the body. But it would not be falling under sexual assault. It is not as if you say this would fall under another provision of the POCSO Act. Actually, you are taking out that act completely out of ambit of such POCSO Act. And that is unmindful of it. I understand the judge says, no, not 7, but some other section.
It is like, they're dealing with like IPC section, not 302, let us go with 301 part 2 and finish it off like that. It's not like that. Judges do like that sometimes. It's not 307, let us do it in 323, 326.
No, her argument is that since the provisions have stringent punishment, so we have to strictly see to it. The law should be, since we are dealing with a child right and abuse to a child, we have to strictly deal with the interpretation part.
Exactly. Yeah.
And not let a person go on technical grounds. Here, this is not even technical ground because
nothing. Yes, absolutely.
The judge has not referred to any judgment to say this is the precedent I am following.
Judge has not even disbelieved any prosecution theory also.
Absolutely. She says she has actually believed.
She has agreed with all prosecution theory.
Yes.
And still converted it.
The prosecution story, in the other judgment, when the allegations are that he unzipped his pant, he was touching the body parts, he has held hand of the girl, the judge has allowed the the perpetrator to go with 5 months punishment undergone already. The same judge. So unfortunately, this is not a case of one mistake. It seems she has the jurisdiction of POCSO cases right now, and this is how she is applying her mind. And you cannot bring any reasons, justifiable reasons to say this can be a possible interpretation.
Yeah, you are, if you are liberal, you have to be in the four corners of, yes. Even the gesture, that's very interesting. Section 11, even the gesture.
That's what I'm saying. Gesture, photographs. You're using the photograph of the children to be used, even the made out photograph. So all possible acts. And you are grouping, the judge doesn't found to be falling into it. And then according to what Abhi said, according to me, he's absolutely right. Why not section 18?
Absolutely. 18 is also very interesting.
Which says attempt to commit any
offense.
Acts. Whosoever attempts to commit any offense punishable under this act or cause such offense to be committed. So attempt may fall ho jayega na? All of the exercise. Why do you unzip your trouser, lower clothes? Why do you unzip the other person? Why have you taken the girl to a confinement? By a wrong promise, a false promise. The basics hai to.
And all the testimony of evidence, the testimony of witnesses are all in against the accused.
3 witnesses.
In consonance with the prosecution story.
And judge believed every single witness.
Yes.
Doubting them. That's unfortunate, very unfortunate. In this time, in 2021, it's unfortunate when you have to discuss and talk about the basics.
Basics at the higher judicial level.
That when we were say if a Sexual Harassment Act 2013 is what? We are not even dealing children over there. We are saying any gesture, any unwelcoming conduct, a glare beyond limits. If you're staring at somebody, looking differently, all that falls within those Sexual Harassment Act. Here in this act, section also, sexual harassment definition is such broad. It's in any other act.
Any other act.
Anybody else? Tanvi, I want to add more. The fortunate part is that the Attorney General has mentioned the matter. Court has taken immediate cognizance.
That's very good, yes.
But what would you do if a judge keeps on passing judgments like this? And she got regular few days back only.
She should not be given work for some time. Or should be given MSCT cases.
Bank cases, she was doing bank cases, I believe, MSCT cases or something like that. But she should be taken off from this.
There she should be liberal at all. That will be applicable because liberality in that sense will help the weaker section.
Her liberal approach may benefit people over there.
Yes, definitely. In MSCT cases, it will benefit the weaker section.
In fact, I was wondering if you read this act and this says you have to be trained. The prosecutors, the lawyers, the judiciary, everybody have to be trained to deal with when it comes to lower judiciary. In fact, I believe for High Court roster also, the judges have to be trained for these special acts.
Yes,
yeah.
We don't
be sensitized to deal with these cases.
Except Supreme Court lawyers, you go anywhere in the world, you will have to find your choice of lawyer. You have to see who is the service matter person, who is the criminal person, who is expert in what. So for choosing of lawyer, we need a good lawyer in that field. So for dispensing of justice, this should be changed also, because who is doing good in that field should be given that sort of work.
And they can be trained for these specific rosters which have some social issues involved.
And this judgment is particularly, is in respect of, it's not in the facts of the case. This has far-reaching effect. Because the whole intention of the act goes away by this act, by this judgment. The section 7 is redundant now.
And this act has not come like 1956 or way back.
The modern era act.
Much of the efforts have to be made by society to get this act. So all that efforts, all that work done, goes to a 6 by this approach, by these kind of approaches.
Absolutely.
Vimla ji,
This is after seeing all social issues and all, then only Parliament find it fit to frame such a law.
huh.
This
And
such incident.
unfortunate part that the author is a female.
The author of it's all subjective, but yeah, still legally it's absolutely unsustainable. It's not sustainable in law.
Absolutely, but it has given birth to a need for interpretation of physical contact.
Yeah, that was not even needed there. It is not a case.
But she generated it.
Why there was no need to do that for all this skin to skin and all these were not called for. They were not required in that case. You just need to see the intent, and that is there.
Vimla ji, you are adding something, or we can conclude?
Yes, ma'am. I want to tell that it's high time for us that all the judges have to be conscientized and see that the judges also look into the matter in a broader perspective. And also, I want to tell that society also needs to be conscientized through us. That is what I feel at this moment.
Very true.
Yeah, the solidarity of our lawyers will really bring a lot of changes in the society.
Yeah, but
Also,
as Tanvi said, and I would be completely agreeing with him, that we know, all of us, that it would not withstand the test by Supreme Court. But the fact remains, it is an absurd judgment, a folly by one individual. We have not seen these kind. I've seen arguments of this nature, but a judgment of this nature, like when we were doing research, we have seen so many cases. The accused would always try to come out from POCSO Act and to fall under the general provisions of IPC. And the judge, after dealing with section 29, section 30, section 42 of POCSO Act, would say the presumption lies with the favor of the version. The higher punishment have to be given, and we have to be mindful of the purpose, the objective, to be in tandem with the objective of bringing up this special act.
Exactly.
So for sure, this is an absurdity. Unfortunately, this would remain on the legal platform always. It's a judgment which is written already.
But when it is going to be set aside, it won't be there anywhere.
So there should be a procedure actually weeding out the judgments from the
Yes,
record.
it should be. Yes, definitely. This will go for sure. Because a High Court judge, when he tries the judgment, it is a law of land. 142, 141 law of land. And
this is something about reversing a conviction.
the
The judge had the benefit of already a well-written judgment by the lower court.
and all the proceeding of the trial.
It is not a trial court judge is writing, a first judgment and, does not have the benefit of a reasoned judgment written on the subject and dealing with the arguments. And she overturned that judgment so to come out with an acquittal under section 7.
Absolutely, yes.
So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
thank you, ma'am.
We made some purposeful discussion, and let's keep meeting on different subjects again and again. And
Yeah.
Very interesting to meet every time.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you, ma'am. It's very interesting.